Hey guys, how's it going? God's Vessel or Caesar here today. And in this video, I will be showing you how to modify guns in Borderlands 3 without having to download a save editor of any kind. Now, this save editor is online only, so you will need constant access to the internet and of course a web browser to access it when you want to modify your files. So before we go any further into this video, I do want to take the time out to say before you start any kind of modding of any kind to any of your games, it's always a good practice to make a backup of your current save file just in case anything goes wrong in the modding process. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move into it. So what you see on the screen right now is obviously a modded complex root. It is a DLC gun from the Western style. I think it's Blood and Bounty DLC, I believe it is. And this is a drop from one of the enemies in the game, one of the boss enemies in the game. And like I say, obviously this is a modded version of it. So the gun drops and looks something like this right here. This might be a bit tampered with as well, but regardless, this is a more, I think it's a more realistic version of what you would get. But then of course, if you come onto the modding one, as you can see, the stats are entirely different. Above it, I have a KO Sun, which is probably my favorite SMG in the game. It's a piece of a weapon, just unstoppable. Anyway, here's the KO Sun, and of course you can see it's a dual weapon and it has a shock element on it. Magazine size, fire rate, all that stuff is pretty normal. This one might be a bit tampered with as well, but these are the general stats you will see when you look at a gun like this in the game. And of course, if you go to the modded version of it, the accuracy, the handling, the reload speed, all that stuff, the magazine size is clearly different. So it's a totally different gun than what we have from right here. So how do you get your guns to go from looking like this to like this or this? And you can do the same thing with the items as well, the class mods, the shields, the grenades, and so on. But today we're going to focus on how to get the gun from looking like this to something like this, and we're going to go ahead and get into that. So we tab out. The first thing to know is that if you're playing on any Windows version of the game, how to get to your save files. Click on any file folder, and you're going to go to Documents, My Games. It's always going to be in the same spot, Borderlands 3, and then Save Games. And everyone's going to have this number folder right here. When you go inside, your files will be in there. Now again, what I recommend doing is just simply making a copy of this folder right here. So you right click on it, simply hit copy, go to your desktop, new folder, just to show everyone in case someone's new to this process, and we'll just call it backup. Then we'll drop it in there if something goes wrong. All right, now that that's done, if anything goes wrong, you have this to revert back to. So let's go ahead and get into the editor. So you open up your web browser and you can go to Google, and you're simply going to search, I believe I have it stuck to the, nope, I don't. So you're going to just search Borderlands 3 save editor. And it should be the first link that pops back up right here. I already have it open. So if you were to click on it, of course, you would be redirected to this site right here. All right. So once you're here, as you can see, it gives you the option to drop in your profile data or your save file. The profile data controls your bank, your SDU slots, your money, your skins, things like that. And I'll briefly go ahead and click on it to show you what it would look like. Now, when you click this choose file tab, it's going to open this window up right here. You might not be in this location that I'm on. You might have something like a desktop. So again, what you would do is you would navigate to Documents, My Games, Borderlands 3, save game file. You go inside this folder right here, and all your files will always sit right here. So just for the quick demonstration, we're going to go ahead and click on Profile, and it's going to open up, and then we can see everything in here. So let's say you start a new character and you don't want to go through the hassle of unlocking all his weapon slots and the item slots. You can just come in here and go ahead and just open all that kind of stuff up. And I'll show you how to do that on the character side. The profile data is obviously here for the profile stats and things like that. So you can unlock the customizations, the decorations, weapon skins. It's pretty explanatory. It's all right here on the screen. You can give yourself golden keys, and you can go ahead and buff the stats inside your profile data for the Guardian rank. So that's something to keep in mind. And of course, the SCU levels, you can go ahead and hit max on that. When you do adjust this page right here, make sure you hit save. Like for example, it's grayed out. If I were to type in here and hit like 6, now I can go ahead and save. So any changes you make, hit the save button right here. To demonstrate the bank real quickly, this is like the profile data again is tied to your bank in case you didn't know. So if you ever delete your profile data, you're deleting your bank, or if you download someone's profile data, you're downloading their bank. So everything in your bank is in here, and you can pretty much go in there and mess with it. But I'll show you what we're looking for when you first come in here. Let's go ahead and step back, go forward, and we're going to bring in our profile. We're going to bring in our character save file. So again, documents my games, Borderlands 3, as you can see it from there. So in this case here, we're going to modify my Zane character. I know he's save file number 4. Yours may look different. If you have 1 save file, then of course there'd be 1 save file here. If you have 10, then you'll kind of have to know which character is which. So Zane is 4. And when it opens up, it will show you 3 tabs here. Click on character, and right here, as I was saying earlier, if you make a new character in the game and you don't feel like, you know, opening that grenade slot and playing through the game and opening the weapon slots, you can come right here and just check them and then hit save. So like right now, again, you see save is kind of grayed out. I can't click on it. If I was to check it and uncheck it, any changes you make sure you hit save so they'll stick in the game. You want your character to be level 65 instantly, level 1, and you want to have all the equip slots, and you don't want to worry about trying to find an XP lobby or begging someone to power level you and that nonsense. You just go ahead and click on level 65, and again, hit sync item and player level. Don't worry about the experience or skill points. Modifying skill points is a separate video. I'll show you how to do that one day through cheat engine. All right. So, and then you can add the XDUs right here. If you don't know the number, you can go ahead and click max XDUs. Or for example, what I'll do is I'll put 4 there. Oh, that's not it. 4 there. Just to give an idea what it would look like, you know, if you were to first come in here and you had a new character. You would just hit max XDU, it would turn them on to the max, and then you're all set. And again, hit save and then cash. You can type in whatever amount you want. As you can see, it goes beyond the 99 million you can carry in game. So you can make these all 9s, it's pretty much whatever. The same thing for the Iridium. So what we're all here for is modding the guns in our inventory. All right, so we'll go back to the game real quick. And again, we have 4 guns, 2 of the same, 2 complex roots and 2 chaos suns, and we'll tab out here. And so I know that these 2 are obviously the chaos suns and then the complex roots, and I'll sort it by type. So I have 2 snipers and 2 SMGs. So we'll open them up. Now I'll do the snipers first. I like messing with those. We'll open them up, and where's that? This one, that's the wrong one. Yep, that's the wrong one. I want the snipers. I was just looking at it. Going blind right here on video. All right, there we are. There, sniper. Where's the other one at? Guys, I'm having a moment. I can't see. All right, here we are. So when you open them up, you will have a wall of text. And of course, you first come in here, if you're not familiar with modding or what the Borderlands gun code will look like, or the item code or the parts, it'll look a little intimidating, but hopefully I can get that all clarified for you today, or at least somewhat. Some of the stuff you have to kind of come in here and kind of play around with and get a better idea of what does what, how it affects the gun, and how much more of an improved gun you want to have when you go back into the game. So, and again, it shows you the level of the gun in that previous tab. If you hit sync level, it'll sync all the guns to level 65. So let's say a month from now, there's a new level cap to 72. You just go to that other tab and type in 72 and hit sync, and all your guns will become level 72. You don't have to go farming for them anymore either. All right. So this is the modded one. This is the base one. So I guess this is the regular one in game. I thought it was modded. It might be a little bit, but I guess this is the base one down here. And you're probably wondering, how can I tell? Oh, hang on 1 second, got a phone call. All right, now that phone call is passed, where were we? Okay, yeah. So this is the wall of text you will see when you open this up. So where's the base gun? The base gun is right here. So pretty much you have different parts for each category of the gun here. And one thing I like to do is check this little box right here that says all parts. When I check that, it'll show me all parts that could possibly show up on the gun versus just the ones that are in there by default. And I think it's more of the all parts for the manufacturer as well. If you click it right here, it starts showing you different barrels and things like that that are not on the gun by default. But to keep it simple, when you first start, just leave it where it's at. But if you want to get creative, you can check all parts and you can start mixing and matching and seeing what works and doesn't work. And so what I did was, this is the base weapon. And so what I'll do is that what I noticed for the complex root is that it has a very slow or long charge time. So you hit mouse 1 and it kind of like charges up and then it shoots. I'm not a fan of that. So what I would do in this case is I would go to barrel. I would scroll down and where's barrel at? Pretty sure it's right here in front of me. Barrel. And what I would just do is just simply add on a barrel change right there. And that barrel says minus 20% on charge duration. And if I scroll up, as you can see, I've done it several times for this gun right here. So 2020, as you can see, it's pretty much right there on the gun. Now, you can put as many of one part on the gun that you want to. The only limitation is this little item counter right here down at the bottom. So when you first come in here, the gun may have 16 or 18 parts on it total, and you can add any one part as many times as you want until it gets to 63. Once this is full, you can't add anything else onto the gun. So feel free to change it up. You might not really care about the charge duration, and you might say, well, I want the gun just to be stronger, and that's all I really care about. So you can come over here to body, and you can add more damage. And you can just simply click the arrow, and as you can see, you can keep adding it. As I click the arrow, the number counter goes up, the item counter goes up right there. And you can just go from there. And there's no way to really tell how much more damage they're going to do in the game until you get back into the game. Now, one little trick is that when you're playing with Zane, Zane does not have unlimited ammo. Mo's does by default if you kind of build a skill tree out the right way, but Zane doesn't. And let's say you're playing with Flak or the Siren, and they don't have unlimited ammo either. So if you have a few guns you like, what you can do, if you notice right here, we'll go back in game real quick. Where's it at? If you look right here on the gun, where can I go? Okay, there we go. The magazine size is set to 0. So you would think at first glance, oh, there's no magazine in here, so it's not gonna have any ammo. If you look in the bottom right hand corner, then there is no ammo counter there. Now this one, as you can see, has a magazine size of 14. If I hit escape, and then obviously it's bigger than 14 because of the skill tree and the buffs, but as you can see, there's ammo down there in the bottom right hand corner. If I go to this gun right here, magazine size 0, I switch to that gun, there's no ammo down there. So how does that work? Basically, we'll tab back, and all I did was I came down, let's show you right here first. Where is it at? Magazine size. This works on any gun in the game. Go to magazine size, and you simply take it out, and it's gone. So if you look on this gun right here, on the modded one, notice how there is no category for magazine size. So on the regular one, there's a magazine size, and then on the modded one, there's nothing here. By taking that magazine option out of the gun, it makes it infinite automatically. And the game is going to read 0, but it makes it infinite. You can just fire away. So you don't have to worry about that. And then the reason why I mentioned that is because of the fact that you have a stat in here. Where is it at? I was just looking at it. Reload time. So again, you only have a total of 63 slots. So for reload time, if you take off the magazine, you have to reload. So now you've taken off the magazine and you've taken out the reload time. Now you have one more slot to work with. So you can pretty much ignore any stat in here that is going to give you reload bonuses. The same thing for your skill tree. If you have certain points into certain categories that buff reload speed, you can go ahead and respec and take them out now, because guess what? Your character doesn't have to reload because this magazine is infinite. Now, if you're playing with modes and certain builds, of course, you get certain bonuses when you reload. There's certain annoyments that trigger when you reload, things like that. So you can kind of keep those in mind. But if you don't really care for that, or you feel that the trade-off is worth it, then you can go ahead and take that magazine size off and take off the reload speed as well. And then you can pretty much go ahead and experiment from there to see what's what. Like I said, again, for this gun, I just charged duration. I just cracked it all the way up, so it just fire instantly in the game. Another thing I like to do with this weapon is go ahead and I did damage to it. I love this stat right here, elemental status effect damage. So when you shoot the gun, the dot over time, that's what this is. So you'll see dot. I'm sorry, it's not dot over time. It says dot, but what it means is damage over time. So when you shoot a gun and the enemies take elemental damage over time, so it's damage over time, this is what affects that right here. So I just went ahead and cranked this all the way up. I added however many I added in there. So if anyone does survive the initial shot from the gun, then the dot effect will surely kill them shortly after that. So again, you have to experiment with it to see how effective you want it to be in game. You might put 5 of these on here and determine, okay, that's just enough to where if I don't kill them, then you know the dot will kill them for me, or however you want it to work. Then I think there's something else in here I wanted to cover really quickly. Charge duration, went over that. You can kind of play with these and see which one you want. Spread accuracy, magazine. Oh, see right here again, magazine size plus damage. What you could do is you could see it on the slide. You could take off. You could take off magazine size because again, your weapon now has infinite ammo. So that's 2 more slots you could free up right there, you know, and then add more damage to the gun. So that's pretty much how that works right there. Now, when it comes to the anointments for the gun, they're on a whole different tab of the gun, and they do not take up any spaces or item slots on the gun. You click on the anointment tab, and I'm going to say this: not every anointment over here in this category will stick in game. So what that means is that if you put certain anointments on a gun, the gun just won't show up. Either it won't show up in the game, or that anointment will not be there on the gun. In most cases, I've seen the whole gun is just gone because that anointment doesn't belong there. So let's just say something crazy like, I don't know, most of these will stick, but let's something like, I don't know, I'll just grab, I don't know, Terror Heal or whatever. I don't know which ones will and won't stick, but some of them won't stick. I've noticed that. And I put it over here, this anointment side over here, and I go in the game and my gun is not there. This anointment won't stick, so it won't show up in game. So what I generally do is that for the guns that I want to be just overwhelmingly powerful and just obviously stupid in game, like again, I'll go back here and I'll show you there are more anointments on this gun than you can see. The item card will only show you the first few of them. The card will be down here at the bottom of the screen if it shows you all the anointments. So to get it this way, I kind of went in, I kind of experimented to see which ones do what and how they behave in game. But to be honest, after you stack so many of them, they're going to pretty much insta kill anyone you're shooting anyway. It's just fun to have too much damage because it's fun being overpowered, and remodding because you want to essentially break the game and be overpowered. So weapon damage, and you could add them on there, and they're all character specific at the very top. So if you're building a gun out for Moze or Zane, you can always click on the beast one for Zane, not Zane, Black. And then if you were playing, you know, of course with Zane, you would have the clone swap and things like that. And so what you will see in game is that you may be playing and you get a drop and then have an anointment for Zane, you're playing Moze, when you can pick that gun up and come in here and just change the anointment out and put the one on there for Moze. But in my case, they are pretty neutral except for these 2 right here. So I like to use these right here. And then one final thing is that if you get a gun in game, let's say you're playing on Mayhem 5 and you say Mayhem 8 is too tough or whatever the case may be, I don't want to play on 10, you can still make the gun Mayhem 10. So let's say you pick up a gun and you come in here and the stats are just perfect, but you want to use the gun on Mayhem 10. And this was not here. So let's say this is how it looked, barring these other anointments right here. You would just scroll down to the very bottom here, and I think it's, yep, part weapon Mayhem level. You just go ahead and click on it and throw it over there. You get in game, the gun is not Mayhem 10, which of course does change the damage and things like that on it. So you can add that to every gun. The only bad part about it is that if you find a bunch of guns in Mayhem 7, you will have to come in here and click on each gun and click on anointment and add Mayhem 10 to make the gun be Mayhem 10. But a small price to pay to having on your gear instantly be at Mayhem 10. Let's say Gearbox makes, you know, 10 more Mayhem levels or whatever, you just boom, come in here, take this one off, and this save editor is updated with the patches they put out. Just put on Mayhem level 10 or 15 or whatever it comes out to. So that's pretty much it when it comes to modding the guns. Again, you know, it's no numbers to show you what the stats are going to be in game. You have to play with it and see how you want it to come out. So what I'll do is that I would make a copy of this gun right here. So I will open this one up. This is the modding one, obviously, because it's full and all these recoil stats on here. Where's the KO soon? So what I would do before I even started modding Let's say I wanted the KO stun and corrosive and cryo damage. I will click this button right here, or click this serial code, Control A, Control C, scroll down a little bit, make a copy of it, Control V, and import. And now you have two of the same gun. So what I would do now is I would go down. Let's just say I wanted the elements to be different on both the guns. Let's see here, I would come down. So I would set one element, I would take that one off, scroll down over here, and I would set it to say cryo. And then I would go up, sit down, dog, sit down. I would go to this one right here. Where's that? You distracted me, champ. I'm trying to focus. Oh, here we are. So that one's shock. Here we are. This one's shock right here. I would go ahead, take it off, and I would make this one. So I already did cryo. I would make it, let's just say fire. Add it over here. And now when you go back in game, you have two of the exact same gun, same parts, except one is now fire and then one is now cryo. Another thing about dog weapons, you can change the firing modes. So this one drops, I think it's auto burst, burst semi, and then semi-auto. I don't like semi on any SMG or any gun in general. So what you can also do is you can go over the firing mode. You can just change it out. So again, this was set to auto burst. Let's say you didn't like auto burst. You would go ahead, take it out of there, and you would say, you know, just auto single if that's what you wanted on your gun. And then it's thick in game. You cannot have auto single and burst auto. It's not going to work. So even though you can put it here, just don't try because it's not going to work. And that's pretty much it. That's the only limitation that you're going to have in the game with the guns, that you cannot have two separate firing modes if it's not on the gun by default. So this one's auto burst, so it switches, but you can't have auto burst and auto single. And if the gun does not have two elements on it, you cannot stick two elements on it because it'll just either stick one element or it won't show up in game. Unless the gun again is like a Molly 1 weapon and it's a special weapon like the complex root, and that one by default has two elements. So like right here, by default, the complex root has a cryo element and a corrosive element. Then you can come down, you can switch it to say, you know, like it'll take corrosion off and we'll put shock on there. And let's say you don't want cryo and you want it to be radiation. You can change it like that because the gun drops with two elements on it. But if it doesn't have it, then you can't add two on there. And that's pretty much it. And I think you can do the same thing, like I say, for the items, you know, the class mods and the grenades. And the grenade mods are a little tricky because you kind of have to really go back and forth in the game to see what does what. The artifacts work the same way. You can go ahead and add, you know, multiple annoyments on the artifact in the game as well. Let's say you have a gun and you want to change it up and play a little more legit or whatever the reason may be, or semi-legit because we're mining, so we're not being fully legit here. But you like the artifact, you can add the same annoyments onto the artifact and they'll still stick and give you the bonus in game. The only thing about the artifacts is that these are a little more mysterious. At least that's the word I'll use, because they're not really straightforward on what they exactly do. Increase downtime. Of course, movement speed is pretty obvious. That's your run speed. FFYL, fight for your life. Stuff like that's pretty obvious. But some of the stats in here, you know, you're not really sure, you know, how they will affect it. And what I mean by that is like right here, the primary stats. Is that it? No, wait. It's a stat in here. Where is it at? Oh no, I'm sorry. Not the relic, the class mod. I'll show you. That's what it is. Where's the class mod at? Okay. You got the class mod. So this is where like it doesn't show you, unless you know by heart all the skills, you know, for the character, then it won't show you what it's buffing in game. And so you see right here, it'll say, you know, best serve code or, you know, borrowed time. This one right here is for you to get up off the ground with the clone. I know what that one is, but when you first look at it, you don't know what these are and you don't know the percentages. So in this case right here, I just went ahead and just stuck a bunch of borrowed time on there. I know what it does in game, but when it comes to the class mod, you'll have to really be adding parts, going back in the game, see what it buffs, or you would, excuse me, you would come here and actually what you would do, excuse my skill tree. Of course, you guys should have inspected this. Where is it at? So, I know it's in here. Hey, where'd it go? There's one for, what is this buffing right here? Let's see. It's buffing. Oh, right there. There it is. Blue and orange. It's kind of highlighted, obviously. Oh, here we go, right in front of me. Borrowed time. So as you can see right here, this is how that one works right there. Borrowed time gives you 30 points from the skill mod. Hang on 1 second, one more phone call here. All right, now that that phone call is passed, let's go ahead and get back into it. So the skill points inside of the class mod. So as you can see here, I have borrowed time. So I'm getting 30 points from the class mod itself for borrowed time, which stacks in here. But you have to know what borrowed time does in the game, or you have to know, what violent speed does. I actually like this. So I'm getting 2 points from violent speed right here as well. If I tab back over right here, violent speed, as you can see, is just 2. So you can put as many as you want on there, but you don't know how much it's going to affect the class mod by. And again, 63 total points you can put on there as well. And then again, the annoyments are totally separate. So that's pretty much how it works. Again, when you're done modding the character or the save file, go ahead and hit download. And when you hit download, what will happen is you'll get, where's it at? Should pop up down here at the bottom in a minute. It'll show up down here, and it's always going to say the number of your save file is always going to say the edited version. So then you will hit copy, go back to documents, my game, Borderlands 3, the same process to get to them in the first place. And you paste. Now the trick is that when you paste this, if you leave it saying edited, the game will not see it. It just won't show up, and you'll freak out and say, oh, what happened to my save file? You have to right click on it, and you have to rename it, take that edited part off, and we're gonna make it 1. It's 105, so we know what's what in game. And leave the little dot there as well, so you won't mess anything up. And when you hit enter, and you go back into the game, come here, just back out. And we hit load, we now have the other character right here. And then whatever changes we made, to the guns inside the save editor will of course stick in here. And it's gonna be pretty much the same because we didn't make any drastic changes. I just kind of more or less showed you how to work it versus specifically what to put on there. And then if we made, and yep, right there. So remember how I changed the elements. Now you have a complex root that of course is shock and radiation damage, and then you have the KO Sun, which is just now fire damage. So there you have it. Hopefully the video has been somewhat informative for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down in the comment section below. And then if you guys would like for me to do this one day, I can make a video demonstrating on how you can get this retarded skill tree that I have going on here. And this again is all trial and error to get it to work exactly how you want it to work in game. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.